Hello, friends. Brian Gailey, Klamath Falls News. Welcome to Ask Klamath. It's Season 3, Episode 7 today. We're actually joined by Anna Fowler. Anna is the director of Sage Community School. Now, would you call that Chiloquin or is that Fort Klamath?
Chiloquin.
It is Chiloquin. Okay, so Sage Community School, Chiloquin, Highway 62, kind of halfway in between.
Right.
So we're actually going to be talking to her about the school, about charter schools, and taking your questions live here on Ask Klamath. But before we do that, Brandon, roll that intro. Hello, friends. Brian Gailey here at Klamath Falls News. As I said, welcome to Ask Klamath. It's presented by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. And today's guest, Anna Fowler, director of Sage Community School up there in Chiloquin, not Fort Klamath. I always wanted to call it Fort Klamath up there. Technically, it's the agency area, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So thanks for being here, first off.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you on the show. We've been kind of trying to work this out for a while now.
Yeah.
A little background on Anna, if you're not familiar with her, she actually gave me a very lengthy bio. I asked for a short one. She gave me a long one. It's okay. It's over on AskKlamath.com if you want to read the whole thing about Anna. But in a nutshell, she's been a leader for many years, earned her degree from California State University. How do you say that?
Stanislaus.
Anna ran a successful web design business, working with small business and nonprofits. She learned how to serve the community and succeed in business in the early days of the dot-com boom.
Yes.
So we're talking 95, 6, 7, somewhere in there?
From 98 to 2006.
Okay, so through the bubble and everything.
Yes.
All right. So Anna took a break. She started a family. She once turned back to her community. She was very involved with community before. You took a role at the Chiloquin Library. In 2013, Anna was elected to serve on the board of directors for Chiloquin Fire and Rescue.
Yes.
Hopefully I ask you a couple questions about that too, as well in the library, but we're mainly here for the school. And she serves as a leader within the Chiloquin community. In 2014, she had an opportunity to work with children by joining the staff of Sage Community School. In 2015, you took a call to be the leader and the director, and you've been that ever since, right?
Yes.
So would you call that, is that like the equivalent of a principal?
Yes, it's kind of like a principal and a superintendent almost rolled into one because we are autonomous. So we are, I kind of have to play all of the roles and run the finances and the facilities and oversee the staffing and human resources, all wrapped up into one. Curriculum director, it's kind of everything.
A lot of stuff going on. So, guys, we're going to be taking your questions live during this broadcast. So if you got questions for Anna regarding the school or the library or the fire department up there, the Chiloquin Fire and Rescue, we'll be taking those. So put those in the comments below. We'll be happy to address those a little bit later. But with all that housekeeping out of the way, I'm ready to ask you a couple questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So maybe the first one off, first of all, how did you get started in education?
So, well, when I started in education, I actually knew from a really young age that I wanted to be an educator. I'm an only child, and so I spent a lot of my time playing teacher, and my stuffed animals were my students. And so I just went on. So from high school, I pretty much knew that I wanted to be a teacher. In high school, I worked with my kindergarten teacher. I worked in her classroom as an assistant and just really fell in love with education and working with kids. And so I decided to go to college and become a teacher. And then I kind of ended up going into web design after I graduated from college because I got married and my family started coming along, and it was easier to work from home. Back then, there weren't options for teachers to work from home. And so that's why I kind of went that direction for a little while. But my true love has always been working with kids, especially with teaching them.
So love of kids, obviously, and a lot of people are that way. I've talked to a lot of teachers, and that kind of was what got them into it. Why Sage? What got you involved in Sage?
Well, actually, I started off at Chiloquin Elementary. I volunteered when we had first moved up here, and my oldest son was a kindergartner. So I volunteered in the classroom, ended up getting a job there as a paraprofessional and working for a couple of years. My other kids started getting bigger and stuff. So really, when I started looking back at Sage, I realized that I was homeschooling for a while, and I was looking to get my kids kind of back into the school atmosphere. And I just really liked Sage. I liked their small classroom sizes. I liked how personable they were. I liked how it was a very tight-knit community. And I felt that that would be the best for my kids. So I went ahead and took a tour and enrolled them there. And a year later, a job opening occurred. So I went ahead and took the job as an instructional assistant and worked in the classroom. And then when our current director decided that she was going to move on to a different role, then I just kind of stepped up and said, I think I can do this because I have the education background and everything, even though I didn't have a lot of experience time within the classroom. Mm-hmm. I've run my own business, and I've, also understand the educational field. So it just felt like it was a good fit for me.
Very cool. So with all that, it's a lot of different things you do. Wear a lot of different hats. As you said, you're kind of a superintendent because you're autonomous, as you put it. You're independent. You're a charter school. You're like a principal. You do a little teaching still. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things you do. What would you say is your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part has to be working with the kids. I just really love being able to work directly one-on-one or in a small group with them. I love seeing them light up when they finally grasp a really hard concept.
That aha moment.
Yes, the aha moment is what I live for. When I'm walking through, my head's down, and I'm just running through, trying to take care of such and such that, might be falling apart or whatever. And then I end up in a classroom, and the kids are like, Miss Anna, look at what I'm doing now. And they show me that they're writing their name, or they're showing me that they've got a grasp on that really hard math problem that they were having a hard time with. That just lights me up. And I carry that with me for the rest of the day. That's what makes me get back up every morning and go back at it again.
How fun. Okay, so you got your favorite stuff working with the kids. What's your least favorite?
So the least favorite has to be the financial aspect of it. It's really hard running a small school, and we do get state funding, but we receive 80% of state school funds, and so we're already working on a really tight shoestring budget. Because we are so small, PERS just hits us really hard.
I bet.
So 15% of our total budget per year goes to PERS. So that's taking away from curriculum. That's taking away from, teachers' salaries. That's taking away from our facility maintenance. And so it just, all of the numbers game just makes it really hard. And I hate to, I think like in the larger school districts, things, you kind of distance yourself from the students, so you're not really feeling like you're putting a dollar figure on each child's head. But when I look at it, I see those students. I see each one every day. I know all their names, and I don't like putting a dollar figure on their heads and knowing that I just can't.
Right.
There are things that I want to be able to give them that our finances are too tight. So that's the part that I don't like, is the money.
I would understand. And I can definitely feel you on that one. We're going to actually get more into the school and finances and some of those questions in just a moment. Before we do, in your bio, we talked about you worked for the Chiloquin Library in the fire and rescue. Can you talk a little bit about those community involvement things that you've done and
Sure.
what it was like?
So when I was homeschooling my kids, I really enjoyed using the library facilities. I was going in there constantly, and I just found that I really enjoyed the people, and it was a neat way to be able to interact with our community. So I decided to apply for a job when one came opened. They were looking for a library assistant, And they immediately said, "Oh, please be in charge of our children's department." And so I helped with ordering the new children's books, which I totally loved, and got to get a lot of feedback from my own children on what they would like, because they were at varying ages of reading. And I also would do the preschool story time, and we'd do different activities and stuff. So I was able to reach back. And then, of course, I love reading. I will devour books. So it was a great place to be able to work and do one of my most favorite hobbies.
Nice. And what about the Chilliquin Fire and Rescue?
Right. So in 2013, there was an opening, a vacancy on the board. Someone had resigned from the board. And so when we first moved up here, my husband, Brandon, was really involved with the fire department. He was on the budget committee, and then he became a board member for a while. And they've just always been like family. They were our first people that we really got to interact with. And so it just felt kind of like a comfortable role. So I, submitted and said I'd like to do that. And they appointed me right away. And I've run for election for 2 4-year terms, so and still going at it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's kind of an interesting, we don't always have, very diverse in the things that you're doing up there in Chilliquin. So I think it's pretty awesome. Guys, we're actually going to take a break here in just a moment. But before we do, I want to remind you that we are going to be taking your questions live during the show for Anna, and it can be anything Sage Community School related, charter school related. She said she's going to take them all. So no, she didn't actually say that, but we're going to take them all anyway. So guys, we're going to be back here in just 2 minutes with your questions for Anna.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Rorik, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over. When you see lights,
vests,
or reflectors,
please give us some room. Slow down and move over.
When you need us,
we've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours?
You got our back? Please, slow down
and move over.
Hello, friends. Brian Gailey, Klamath Falls News. Welcome back to Ask Klamath. It's presented by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. If you're just tuning in, we're joined today by Anna Fowler, Director of Sage Community School up in Chilliquin. We've been talking about your background and things you've been doing just a few minutes ago before the break. We're going to be talking a little bit about the school now. But before we get there, I do want to give a special thanks to our sponsor of this segment, the Klamath County Fairgrounds. They want to let you know that there's actually a pretty busy weekend happening at the fairgrounds this weekend. If you've been by, you've probably seen all the RVs out front. Mike's RV has got an RV show out there. You want to check that out. They got a whole bunch out there if you're looking for something like that. Saturday from 8 to 2 is the Community Health Fair presented by Sky Lakes Medical Center. So they're doing a whole lot of free screenings and different things there. We got some information on our website. Check that out over at klamathfallsnews.org. And Saturday night, 7 o'clock, the monster trucks are back in town. They're going to be over there making noise over at the event center, the Klamath County Event Center. Tickets are available at the fairgrounds office starting at just $10. So it's an affordable way to take the whole family out and have some entertainment. Anna, you ready for some more questions?
Yes.
All right, we got a whole bunch of questions. And again, we're going to be taking yours live. So get those in the comments below. We're going to be addressing that. I already see one from Rourke. Thank you for getting that in, Rourke. We'll be asking it just in a few minutes. So people who are unfamiliar with the school, can you tell us what Sage Community School is?
Sure. Well, Sage Community School is a free public school. It's a charter school in Chiloquin. And we can serve any students within the Klamath County Basin that are kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay. And so you said it's a charter school.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what a charter school is?
So a charter school is a school that has a contract with the sponsoring school district or the local school district. So in this case, we have our contract or charter is with Klamath County School District. And our funds end up passing through them,
Mm-hmm.
and but we're completely autonomous from them. So our teachers are paid through us. We pay for our own facilities. We handle our busing. We have a contract with the school district to use their buses for our students. Our meal program is contracted with the school district. So, but everything is completely autonomous. So it's a way that families are able to get a choice in different types of schools that they can send their students to. And for us, what we focus on is place-based learning and project-based learning.
Okay. So for people who may be more familiar with Eagle Ridge
Mm-hmm.
is also a charter school. It's here in town. Yes. They're a form of that. They're a high school. Mm-hmm. You said K through 8.
Yes.
So elementary, junior high.
Yes.
So are you competing with Chiloquin Elementary? Or how would you do that?
No, I wouldn't say that we're like competing with them. We're just offering a second option for parents, another option for parents. If they don't want to send their kids to a traditional school, if they're looking for class sizes that are smaller and individualized learning plans and different things like that, that's more where we focus and where we can, because we are autonomous.
So, and you keep saying autonomous, and what do you mean by autonomous? Is it like independent?
So it's independent. We are independent in the sense that we're completely financially not connected with the school district. Okay. We do have to, we follow the same standards of any public school in the state of Oregon. But there are some things that large school districts have to follow, or rules and regulations that they have to follow that we don't necessarily have to because we are so small.
Okay. So what are some of the things that happen over at Sage Community School that maybe the average person doesn't know about? What do you guys do? What do you do different?
Well, we focus on our learning models that we like to focus on are place-based and project-based learning. And so for place-based learning, we're really focusing on teaching the kids about the area that they live in and the local culture and the local resources and how to use them and appreciate what they have around them. Especially for our older students, we'll start talking about careers that are available locally. Mm-hmm. So we will bring in forestry people and rangers from Crater Lake, and just talking about their different jobs. We also focus on agriculture as much as we can. So we've had different, we had like Potato Day, where we focused on the growing of potatoes. We visited Gold Dust Farms And we're just trying to really teach the kids about their community and what's available here.
So that's the place-based.
That's the place-based.
Place being location.
Exactly.
Okay, what about project?
So our project-based learning is hands-on learning. So what we're doing is instead of just giving kids something to read in a book, we're providing them with a lesson that they can actually experience instead of just reading about it and trying to figure out. So a lot of our project-based learning could be as simple as fun science experiments. A few weeks ago, our kindergarten through fourth graders worked on a bunch of different science experiments on weather. They have been raising fish in the Fish to Fry program at the hatchery. And they'll be...
And fry being the size of the fish,
yes,
right?
Yes, I know.
You're not talking about frying food.
No.
Fry is the size,
yes.
in case anybody's wondering.
Yes, and so the kids will be going to the hatchery in another week or so to be able to deliver their fish then learn.
Also just down the street.
Yes, it is.
Literally.
Yes.
From your school. So,
yes.
I would imagine that's a great partnership with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife that you guys probably have as well.
It is. And then for our older kids, our 3rd through 8th graders have been focusing on letter writing. And so they are actually writing letters to a local nursing home, and then those letters are going to be sent off, and hopefully we'll get some responses back.
How cool.
But it's a way that they can hands-on, instead of just writing a generic letter, they're actually going to do something very hands-on. Sometimes our older kids have actually written math lessons, and then they have to share them with the class.
Oh, wow.
And we've had our teachers are very creative when it comes to the project-based learning. And we focus a lot on science and social studies, getting that in the classroom, but we really bring in the language arts and math into it as well. So it's kind of a well-rounded education program.
Good. A lot of hands-on. In place-based, which is your location.
Yes.
Learning. Cool.
Yes.
So today was a snow day for the school district, for the county school district. You guys were involved with that, right? Because you kind of do follow their protocol because you use their busing. So if they have a snow day or early release or a late start, you kind of follow that as well.
Sure.
How does that affect your students being so small and feeling they're kind of out from everybody else? Does that affect them being a snow day?
No, I think all of the kids have really enjoyed their snow day. I know a lot of the teachers that I've talked to enjoyed their snow day today. But I think the kids really enjoy it. They usually come back sharing all of their stories about what they did for the day. But 65% of our students use the transportation system that is there in Chiloquin through Klamath County School District. So it would be very difficult for us to run the school just with parents bringing their kids to school. So that's why we try, even though we don't have to match their schedule, but our start dates are the same, and all of our holidays, our grading prep all of those dates are all the same. Our early releases are the same, so that we can match up and get as many kids as possible to the school.
Now, you said you take kids from all over the county. Are they mostly in the Chiloquin, Fort Klamath area?
Yes, most of our students are from the Chiloquin area. However, we have, in years past, we've had several students that their parents worked in Chiloquin, and so they would bring them up, and the kids would go to Sage. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In I guess here locally, your only alternatives would be some of the private schools, Hosanna and the Triad, and they're not necessarily a charter school; they're a private school, so it's a little different. So it's kind of cool to see that people would from drive 20 miles, 30 miles, or whatever it is to your school from, say, downtown.
Yes.
That's quite a ways to take their kids every day. But if they're going there anyway, that's a cool idea.
That's typically what we've had. We did have some parents that lived in the Shady Pine area, and so they were bringing their kids up to our most southern bus stop, which would be Modoc Point, right at Modoc Point, and they could jump on there. So
very cool. So we've talked a little bit about the school, but we'll go back, kind of circling around. Maybe you've already answered this in another way, but I want to ask you, what would you say is the core values of Sage Community School?
Well, SAGE really focuses on providing students with a rigorous academic, but also very caring, community-based learning environment. So we like to, when we call ourselves a community school, it's not just that we're teaching the students about the community as a whole, we're also creating our own community environment within our schools. So our kindergartners are not afraid of our 8th graders. They know them. Our 8th graders are very protective of the little guys when they get on the bus and different things like that. They create, it's wonderful to see how they create almost like family relationships. We're very much like a family out there because we are so small.
Very cool. Well, Anna, thank you very much for answering those questions. Guys, we're actually going to take a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes, but during this time, I want to make sure it's an opportunity for you to get your questions in for Anna. We're going to talk about, answering those questions about the school, charter, things like that in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Rourke, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over.
When you see lights,
Vests. Or reflectors.
Please, give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us.
We've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours?
You got our back? Please, slow down.
And move over.
Hello, friends. Brian Gailey, Klamath Falls News. Welcome back to Ask Klamath, Season 3, Episode 7. We're like 25 episodes in now. Want to thank you for being here. Anna Fowler, Director of Sage Community School, is our guest today. We've already talked about the school. We've talked about you. But the school is a charter school. I want to actually kind of take this section and dive into that for people who aren't familiar with it. I'm not really familiar with the charter school either, so I'm kind of learning at the same time. Personally worked with Eagle Ridge and did some projects with them as well, but what it is, what they do is a little foreign to me. Can you talk to us about what a charter school is? And you kind of addressed that a little bit earlier, but for the people who might be tuning in, what is a charter school?
So a charter school is, it's a public school, and typically they're put together within a community by parents or teachers, different community members. Sage was actually set up by a group of parents and community members that just wanted to offer some different style of education, didn't want to go down the traditional education route, wanted something a little different for their kids. And so that's how Sage was born. And that's how most charter schools are. So for instance, Eagle Ridge is very technology, but they're also project-based as well. And so that's really what I think the biggest question that I get all the time is, well, is it free? And so I constantly saying, yes, it's a free public school. Anyone can attend.
So you're a public
charter
school, you're not a private school.
Nope, we are not a private school. There are no fees. Yeah, anybody can attend, and it's a parent's choice, family's choice on if they want their child to attend.
Now, it used to be in the past that there was a lot of stigma associated with the charter school, to where maybe it was the kids who didn't fit into normal school or something like that. Is that still kind of the case, or is that just a stigma?
Well, I would like to say that isn't a stigma, but it still does kind of feel like it is. And part of the reason for that is that a charter school means so many different things in different states. So
Okay.
people talk about charter schools all over the country. Well, charter schools in Oregon run completely differently than charter schools, say, in California. Charter schools on the East Coast may have totally different requirements than charter schools out here on the West Coast. So, it can't really be judged by that. You do want to do a lot of research and just find out, because each charter school is very unique. There are 132 charter schools in Oregon, not very many, but each one is very unique in exactly what type of learning model they offer.
So you said 132 charter schools. Do you happen to know how many schools are in Oregon?
I do not. That's a great question.
That's a great question. Maybe we can research that in the next break. I'm curious myself. So, talk a little bit about you when we introduced Sage. You were talking about how the funding works. Can you go over that one more time and maybe explain that a little bit further?
Yes. So, the funding in the state of Oregon, the law is written in such a way that charter schools receive their funding. It passes through their sponsored school district, and the sponsoring school district for kindergarten through 8th grade can keep up to 20% of that funding. So for us, we work off of 80% of state school funding is what we receive.
And what does that 20% kind of pay for? Is that covering your buses? Is that covering the meals?
No.
Is there anything like that?
It does cover some of the meals, though our meal program is primarily covered through the community eligibility program. So all schools in Chiloquin receive free meals. All of the students receive free meals through the CEP grant through USDA.
Oh, okay. So the USDA program.
They provide us with special ed services. So we work directly with them. Though all of our services are on our campus, we work with them with it. But they don't necessarily have to, by law, they can keep that funding, but they don't necessarily have to tell us exactly what it is allocated for.
Okay. So because of the laws and the way things are allocated, you couldn't be allocated directly from the state. It's got to go to the district, which is then where your contract is to get, okay. So think of it kind of a service fee, if you would.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, but you get the 80%.
Yes.
So
we
it's
get
still
the
talking
80%.
about funding. You get 80% to go into the kids and do their things.
Take care of all of our facilities, all of our teacher, all of our curriculum. We work off of 80%. So we are also a nonprofit. And so we do try and apply for as many grants, and we rely a lot on grants and private donations. But that, I would say, in just talking with other charter school leaders, that's why we only have 132 charter schools in Oregon. For high schools that are charter schools receive 90%, and 5% goes for their state school funding. And when the laws were written back in the 90s, from what I've been told, that was to cover the sports options. But most charter schools are really, they tend to either be technology based, or they tend to, the high schools, or they tend to focus on a very specific career path, and so they don't usually focus on sports.
Right.
So
could be like engineering clubs or robotics clubs or things like that, where they may form a team and go compete that way.
Right.
But not a football or basketball team per se.
Right. Right. Though our students are allowed to compete on their own local teams.
Okay. So like they could, maybe if you had a student that wanted to play basketball, they could do that with one of the Chiloquin, for example. Okay. So we talked a bit about why charter schools are different, right? You talked the way your curriculum is based and what you have to offer. Why would a family, maybe they're looking for different reasons, or maybe they just learned that, hey, there's this school here. We've lived here our whole lives and didn't even know it was over here.
Sure.
If somebody was trying to make that decision, why would a family choose Sage versus, say, another elementary school?
Well, for me, when I made that decision, it was really based on the small class sizes. And most of the families that I talk to when they're coming in, they're really surprised at the fact that our class sizes are no more than 20 students, even though they will cover its blended grades. So usually there's 2 grades within for one teacher. But that really allows the kids to learn about the teacher and for the teacher to learn about the child. They're not just spending 9 months with them. They're spending 18 months with them.
So a blended grade, you're saying like 3rd and 4th grade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they're also getting exposed. So like our kindergartners are being exposed to 1st grade work as well. So it works well on both sides. 1st graders that might be still a little bit behind, well, they're still getting that exposure to some kindergarten lessons that's going to provide a lot of good reinforcement. But the other thing that I really like about our school is our staff ratio, our adult to student ratio is between 5 to 6 students per adult, which is actually really small.
Nice.
And so we're able to actually provide a very individualized learning plan for each student.
Okay. So how many students do you have at your school? And what's your cap?
Sure. So we can have up to 80 students, and we have been averaging, since I've started, we've been averaging between 55 and 60.
So you got a little bit of room in case somebody wants to come over.
Oh, yes,
Can
absolutely.
somebody start anytime?
Anytime. We have no waiting list. The only time that we have a waiting list is if our classrooms happen to be too full. So, but right now we have space available in every classroom, and students can start up at any time. And usually they make friends really quickly. It's great when we bring new students on, and I just love being able to give students the tour of the school, because the rest of our students are just so excited to have a new face and a new person and, somebody, a new friend. So it is, they just immediately kind of envelop them.
Now, you said you're capped at 80. Is that a self-imposed cap, or does that come from the state? Or
That is part of our charter or our contract agreement with the Klamath County School District.
Okay, so that's part of your charter. All right. So we've talked about what SAGE is, what a charter is. What's the future of SAGE? Where's it going?
So Sage, we love where we are. We love all of the things that we provide, but we have been a school now for 12 years, and so we're kind of growing and changing with what our community needs, what their needs and what their desires are. A lot of our families are really pushing, they're like, well, when are you going to get a high school? When are you going to get a high school? Well, obviously we would love to grow and we'd love to be able to add a high school on. I think right now we've got a great relationship with Eagle Ridge, and we've actually become a feeder school, especially since the Klamath tribes, through their Quail Trail bus program, our students are able to ride for free back and forth. So a lot of our 8th grade students, when they graduate, they move on to Eagle Ridge. But we're also looking at, we would just like to get the kids more prepared for the 21st century. We really kind of want to focus more on a little technology base, so they know as their future educational experiences move on, they are more prepared for it. So our board has been doing some investigating, looking around at possible properties, looking at trying to create some, maybe make some changes within the property that we currently rent, different things like that. It is hard. We do rent the facility that we're at, and so it is hard to get facility grants because most grants, they would like you to own the property. So that is our next step, is that we really need to, move on into owning our property so that we can apply and we can continue to grow.
Are you looking for like a empty land where you can build a facility to what you want, or is it something you're looking, an existing structure that you can just kind of do a little remodeling and get into?
So we've looked at both. The board has looked at both of those options, and I can't really divulge in where they are going, but we do have some plans and hope we can share them really soon.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear what you got going on. So with that, guys, we're actually going to take our last commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with your questions for Anna. Get those in the comments. We'll see you in just a moment.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Rourke, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over.
When you see lights,
Vests.
Or reflectors.
Please, give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us.
We've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours?
You got our back?
Please, slow down.
And move over.
Hello, friends. Brian Gailey here at Klamath Falls News. Welcome back to Ask Klamath. Today we're joined by Anna Fowler. She is the director for Sage Community School. During the break here, we actually took a look, and Rourke answered one of our questions for us. We weren't sure how many schools were in the state of Oregon. So one more time, how many charter schools is there?
132.
Okay, so 132 charter schools. According to what Rourke sent us, there's 1,200 K through 12 schools in the state of Oregon, inside 197 different school districts.
Mm-hmm.
So the percentage, that's something, right?
Yes.
There's very few charter schools.
Yes.
So it makes them very special.
Yes.
All right. So thank you, Rourke, for doing that. I appreciate you looking into that for us. Now, Anna, this section is what we call the soapbox. It's an opportunity that our guests are able to talk about whatever's on their mind. What happens to be on your mind today?
I think I'd just like to share some of the fun things that we get to do at Sage. For instance, this week has been Read Across America Week. That's in honor of Dr. Seuss's birthday, which is on March 2nd. And so we have been doing all kinds of fun Dr. Seuss activities. We have a spirit day for every day. Tomorrow will be the Lorax Day, so you should come wearing your mustache. And
I can just see it. There's 60-some kids going around with a big yellow mustache on
Yes,
their face. I can just see it now.
We've also had a lot of community leaders come in and read to our students. So we had from Chiloquin Fire and Rescue, we had the ambulance crew, Louise and Eric Trigstad. They came in and read The Cat in the Hat. And let's see, Eric read a story called I Want to Be a Firefighter. And the kids just really loved it. Yesterday, we had Sheriff Caber, come in, and he read the students If You Give a Moose a Muffin, which was so fun. And what's interesting, whenever I have the readers come in and they say, I only get to pick one book, oh gosh, the big kids, they aren't going to like this book, but they do.
Yeah.
They really love hearing their classic stories. We had, we were supposed to have Commissioner Minty Morris in with us today, but we had the snow day, so I'm sure we'll get her back to come and visit. She's always a popular guest at our school. Tomorrow we will have Fire Chief Cook and Firefighter Missy Danforth from Chiloquin Fire and Rescue. They're going to come in, which is perfect because a lot of my students pointed out that since it is the Lorax Day and wear a mustache, Chief Cook has a fabulous mustache, so it's perfect for that. And then
is he going to dye it orange? That's the big question.
Oh, no, I don't think I could talk him into dyeing it orange, but it would be pretty funny.
I bet he would get a nice reaction out of that.
Yes. And then on Friday, we do round robin, where our 4 teachers will actually read their favorite book to their class, and then they'll switch and read to one of the other classes. So all of the students will get exposure and get to learn a little bit about the other teachers that are there at the school, which is always fun. We'll also have our smart reading program on Friday, which we have a very unique SMART program that is run by the SMART program from Klamath. We are completely autonomous, so where most schools have readers that come in that are adults, our 5th through 8th graders actually read to our kindergarten through 4th graders.
Oh, how nice.
So every student gets a special buddy reader that they meet up with every other week, and our kindergarten through 4th graders get to take a book home every other week. So they'll get 12 free books that they get to add to their collection, their little home library. So we have a lot of fun with that. We try and we always do a yearly barbecue, bringing families in, and great potluck fun where we all get to sit out outdoors and have our barbecue, try and invite community members to it. And then the kids get to show their parents their classroom. So it's an open house and fun activity outside. And then the last day of school, I think, it's a tradition that was started back when the school opened, and it's one that's very near and dear to my heart. We actually do what's called a boat float, and the students pair up in groups of 3 to 4 and we usually try and work them in these groups where they have some older kids and some younger kids, and they'll build a boat out of completely natural resources that are available out and about on the grounds. And then they get to take them down, and one of our staff members will put it into the little Klamath Creek that runs by our school, and they will watch them float away. So they get to stand on the bridge and wave goodbye to their little boat, and it's kind of a nice way of symbolizing saying goodbye to the old school year and coming on to, whatever their future may be.
Awesome stuff. A lot of cool things you got going on up there. And I can tell you're really passionate about it because you're choking up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. And to go along with all that stuff, you were talking about people coming in your place and the way you're doing things up there. You have people from like Crater Lake coming in and stuff like that. We were talking off camera before we got started that rangers would come in and teach the kids, and so that's kind of special also about what they're doing there. You mentioned like they would learn core sampling of trees and how to read a tree and stuff like that too.
Yes,
right?
So we have had a ranger from Crater Lake. He has come down. He's taught the kids mapping. He's so how to properly read a map. He's taught them different survival skills. He if they end up kind of lost in the forest, different things that they should do. He has taught them measuring trees, being able to know how tall a tree is, taking the core samples of the tree to figure out how old the tree is. I think one of my favorites was when they actually came out and we had really deep snow like we do right now, and they brought snowshoes for all of our students.
Oh, how fun.
Kindergarten through 8th grade went and snowshoed. Then our 6th through 8th graders actually got to ride up to Crater Lake and snowshoe in the park.
Nice.
So yeah, we do have a lot of contact within Crater Lake because it is so close. And it's always fun to be able to have them come and share their specialties with us.
Very cool. You're I would say field trips, but you're kind of out in the field trip already, aren't you?
Yes, that's true. We do a lot of nature walks. The property, though we only use 2 buildings on the property is actually quite large, and we're able to take advantage of just all of the different roads and being able to walk down to the creek. One of our teachers a couple years ago actually got a grant for a watershed study, and her students worked through the watershed study. They got field cameras, wildlife cameras, and so they would go out and they would manage it and figure out. They watched the water levels, they watched the animals, and just to figure out what was going to be in the area. It's been very interesting.
Any surprises on those wildlife cameras?
Well, we didn't actually see them on the camera, but we have found bear tracks.
Ooh.
And we have seen lots of coyotes, a mountain lion, and lots of raccoons and the beavers.
Oh, raccoons,
the beavers
of
and
course.
the otters are very popular.
I bet they are. I bet they are. We're going to actually take a look here and see what questions we have. I know we got a few. Rourke's got a couple. Thank you for getting those in, Rourke, and the Google answers for us. That was awesome for you today. His first question is how can the community help support your school?
So that's a great question. One of the first things is the families, having families send their kids to Sage. That's going to be our biggest way that you can support our school and keep it going. I have a lot of families that I'll talk to and I'll say, hey, I'm out at Sage, and they'll say, well, I'm going to think about that and see, well, if people don't use our school, then we're not going to be around anymore. So that's one of our biggest things, but we love community support. And we are a nonprofit 501c3, so donations are tax deductible. We are always running different fundraisers, and even not on the monetary side of things, just being able to come into the school, share what you enjoy. It could be your favorite hobby. It could be your career. What we're trying to teach the kids is about their community, and so we want them to be able to learn that they can live here. They don't have to leave here. They can live here, they can enjoy everything here, and they can survive here by being part of the Klamath Basin.
Awesome. Rourke's got another question. He asked, what is place and project-based learning? I think we went over that a couple of times, but for people who may be tuning in late, can you go over that one more time?
Sure. So place-based education focuses on teaching the students the education of the area. So we focus a lot on natural resources and local culture. We actually have the Klamath Tribes brings in a language teacher, and he comes in and sees our students and is teaching them the Klamath language.
Oh, nice.
So we're trying to encompass all of the community. We focus on a lot of the history of the community. We're trying to teach the kids, like I said, kind of that's the place-based is focusing on living here, surviving here, and being a good caretaker of our area. And then the project-based learning is all of the hands-on learning that the kids really love, like the watershed project or the different sites experiments that they get to do, the fish to fry program. Those are all great examples of ways that they are doing a project. They are hands-on learning. They're not just being told in a book and then having to answer questions on it. They're actually experiencing it.
Okay. Rourke's got one more question on here. Rourke, for those that are unfamiliar, he's actually in the automotive business. As a matter of fact, in the commercials you see Excel Auto Body. He is the owner of Excel Auto Body, and he's actually got a question that's kind of related to his industry. Can local businesses present their industry at your school?
Absolutely. We are always looking for local businesses to come in and tell us about what they do. We have a program set up with KCC and OIT. We go and visit our 6th through 8th graders, go and visit every other year. So this year we'll be going back to KCC again. We want to start getting these kids at a young age thinking about what they want to do with their futures. And so we're not going to focus on they don't have to be scientists and they don't have to be teachers. They can get into we want to show them exactly what real world careers are like.
Not everybody is a doctor or a lawyer or
Exactly.
somebody like that. There is, trades people, and we have a shortage of those. And we know KCC is working on something there as well, which is great to see. So, Rourke, it looks like you might have an open invitation.
Absolutely.
Rourke, Anna Rourke, I just introduced you guys. So it's great. So are you looking for other people to maybe do that? So if somebody wants to talk about what they have, what they do, how would they reach you and talk to you about an opportunity?
Sure. So the easiest way to reach me is through email, Anna Fowler at sagecommunityschool.org, or you can call the school, 541-783-2533. Our website is www.sagecommunityschool.org. You can learn a lot of information about our school there. But yes, I am looking for anyone. We would like to have you come.
I would be honored to. So continuing to look here, we have a couple more questions. My wife has actually a really good question here, Crystal. Thank you for putting that in. She's asking kind of a two-part question. What does it take to become a teacher? Kind of not talking, just general. And does it take anything special to be a teacher at Sage?
Okay, that's a great question. So teachers in the state of Oregon have to be certified through the Teachers Practices and Standards Commission. So they have to be certified through the state. All of our teachers are. And so typically what TSPC requires is that you have a bachelor's and a master's in teaching. So usually a bachelor's in a general education program and then a master's in teaching. And that's what all of our teachers have. Otherwise, our teachers are there because they want to teach students in a different setting, in a different way. So I can tell you, they are not there for the money. They're not there for the glory. They are there because they love those kids and they want to teach them in this really special way.
Awesome. Do you have any openings for teachers right now?
So currently, all of our positions are full, but this is the time of year that things kind of shift and change, and I never know, exactly how things are going to work out. So we may have openings next year. I'm always encouraging people, if you are interested in teaching, or if you're interested in working with kids and want to become an instructional assistant, please always check the website and see what employment opportunities are available.
Awesome. Samuel Johnson's asking, are you involved with other charter schools?
So we are very involved with Eagle Ridge, as I have said. And so primarily we're working back and forth with them, but there aren't very many charter schools that are local. Eagle Ridge is the only high school, and Sage is the only K through 8 school in the Klamath Basin, so that are charter schools. So, it's hard for us to kind of reach out. Most of the other charter schools are in Portland, the most general, tight populations, or that's where they're going to be. But we are working on reaching out with Butte Charter School and just trying to create some community feel within different charter schools.
Good. Chrissy Heitman. Hi, Chrissy. Thanks for tuning in. She's actually asking, you talked about it being a nonprofit and you can take donations. Her question's along that line. She says, are they listed, is Sage listed as a nonprofit with the Fred Meyer Community Option, so where you can donate through Fred Meyer?
Yes, we are. In fact, that is one of our places that we get a donation very regularly. I love getting those emails from Fred Meyer saying that they've deposited the funds. Yes, so that is a great way that you can support, because that program, it's based on your rewards points. So, because you're shopping there anyways and you're earning rewards points, we're earning rewards points with you, and we get a donation for that. We also have a very similar program set up with Amazon.
I was going to ask you if you were set up with Amazon
yes,
also.
so the smile.amazon.com, yes, we are set up with them too.
Very good. So if you're shopping here or online, you can have some of that kickback to the guys over here at Sage.
Yes.
All right. I'm not seeing any new questions. Christy did comment right there. Everyone asked awesome questions tonight. Yes, actually, everybody did ask awesome questions. Thank you, everybody, getting those in. And not seeing any more, we're actually going to move on and ask you if you had anything else that you wanted to add here today.
Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome. Thank you.
Inviting me to be on here so that we can share our message out at Sage. We're really working hard to be part of the community and growing, evolving, changing. And we're hoping that stigma you were talking about on charter schools, that is not there anymore. We really hope that parents would be interested and excited about trying a different change, trying something new for their students. If things are not working out in a traditional setting, I would say absolutely give us a chance and come try out Sage, try out Eagle Ridge. They've got some great, we have great opportunities for students to learn in a totally different way and maybe really get them excited about education, which is what I enjoy seeing.
Nice. One more time, how would people learn more about Sage Community School? One more time.
Yes, so you can email us at afowler@sagecommunityschool.org, or you can visit our website, www.sagecommunityschool.org, or you can call us and come out for a visit, 541-783-2533.
And you guys are on Facebook as well?
And we are on Facebook. I almost forgot that. Yes, we are on Facebook. So follow along and see all the exciting things that we're doing.
Well, very good. Well, Anna, thank you for being here today. One more quick look here. I am not seeing any further questions, so we're going to actually wrap up our broadcast. We're just a few minutes over. So we're going to put this to bed. Guys, thank you so much. Again, Anna, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Ask Klamath is a production of Klamath Falls News. It's hosted by myself, Brian Gailey. Off camera doing production is my son, Brandon Gailey. It's a family operation around here. If you did not catch the entire live broadcast, don't worry. As soon as Facebook does its magic, you can rewatch anytime. You can also head over and see the archives at askklamath.com, and you can see any of our previous episodes from all 3 seasons. You can also even check those out on YouTube. We got a spot over there with all that archive on it. If we've entertained you, if you've learned something, feel free to like, share it, let your friends know what we're doing. We were happy with that. So next week, we actually have our presenting sponsor, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union, is actually going to be in the house. Chad Olney, the CEO of Pacific Crest, is going to come in. He's going to talk to us about what's going on with Pacific Crest. And with that, guys, that's it. On behalf of Anna Fowler, I'm Brian Gailey. We'll see you around the basin. Bye.